Hi everyone, my name is Samantha Lagonic, and for my weekly digital reflective summary, I will be discussing the methodology of my action research project. My research topic is the effect of math reflective journal writing on students' metacognitive awareness and higher order thinking skills. And my research question is, how can I use math reflection journals in my second grade homeroom mathematics class to promote my students' higher order thinking and metacognitive awareness when solving math problems? With their higher order thinking skills measured by an increase of level 2 and 3 depth of knowledge questions answered correctly on their unit assessments and daily independent assignments, and their metacognitive awareness measured by an increase in positive responses on a daily metacognitive inventory. I also seek to investigate whether their thinking approaches become more elaborate with this innovation. This study utilized a mixed methods design, specifically an explanatory sequential approach to measure the effectiveness of reflective journal writing on increasing students' higher order thinking skills and metacognitive awareness. Therefore, I collected the quantitative data first and identified the outliers, and then I collected the qualitative data to gain a better understanding of these unique cases in my data. The students in my second grade homeroom class were the participants in my study, consisting of 20 students. Because my school implemented the blended model last school year, 14 students attended school brick and mortar, while the other 6 students attended virtually. These students received math instruction in their homeroom class during the same 90-minute interval. This study occurred during the last 2 trimesters of school, totaling 18 weeks. When implementing the math reflection journal into my second grade homeroom class, each student received a primary composition notebook where they responded to these prompts. I then explained the purpose of the math reflection journal and modeled how to use it, creating an anchor chart for students to refer to when writing in their journal. Since 6 of my students were attending school virtually, I created an online math reflection journal using Google Slides. Also, since 13 of my students are English language learners, I provided them sentence starters for each prompt and gave them the opportunity to draw pictures, hoping to better facilitate their written thoughts. The implementation of the Math Reflection Journal occurred during my whole group instruction and during my small group guided math instruction. During my whole group instruction, I purposely selected prompts that align with the targeted skills for each textbook lesson, and I would use about 1 to 2 prompts per lesson. I would read these reflection prompts, giving them about 5 to 10 minutes to respond to each prompt in their journal. After they finished responding, they would take 3 to 5 minutes to discuss the responses with their table, sharing their ideas and their different approaches. Then, as a class, we would work together and share our ideas. During the guided math instruction, I would purposely select prompts that aligned with each differentiated lesson, since each group was on a different level. I would read these prompts to the students, giving them about 5 to 10 minutes to respond to each prompt, and then students would take about 3 to 5 minutes to discuss the responses with their turn and talk with their shoulder partner. Then, each member of the group would share their thoughts and ideas. The following 2 slides are examples of reflection prompts that I use with my students. The quantitative data collection tools that I used were the math unit assessments, independent assignments, and metacognitive inventory. The unit assessments were monthly multiple choice summative tests that comprised of level 1, 2, and 3 depth of knowledge questions. The independent assignments were teacher made, containing 5 questions: 1 DOK level 1 question, 2 DOK level 2 questions, and 2 DOK level 3 questions. The metacognitive inventory was a 5-item inventory consisting of statements that students would mark true or false for. True had a value of 1, and false had the value of 0. The qualitative data collection tools were the anecdotal notes, which were teacher observations on how students solve the problems, and the student interviews, an informal ethnographic interview using who, what, where, when, why, and how open ended questions to gain a better understanding of the student's thinking process when solving problems. One challenge that I did face during this process is a lack of reliability in my independent assignments and metacognitive inventory, causing me to make adjustments to my data collection tools. For example, previously I created independent assignments consisting of 10 questions, making it difficult for my students to complete in the allotted time. Since they face this limitation in time, students either rushed through the problems or didn't complete the assignment, causing the data to be skewed. Therefore, I limited the number of questions to 5. In addition, previously, the metacognitive inventory used a 5-point Likert scale, complicating the process for students and causing them to check random boxes. This also skewed the data. Therefore, I simplified the process, asking students to select true or false for each statement. This is an example of the metacognitive awareness inventory that I used for my research project. Since I implemented an explanatory sequential approach, my data collection occurred in 2 phases. Phase 1 occurred with students completing the daily independent assignments at the independent station and completing the metacognitive awareness inventory after the independent assignments. Then students would also complete the monthly unit assessments. I would record their data daily, and then every week I analyze the quantitative data, identifying the outliers. Phase 2 occurred with me focusing on these outliers that I observed in the quantitative data. For example, I would observe and record anecdotal notes on those students' problem-solving process. And I also conducted interviews with those students to better understand their thinking process when completing DOK Level 2 and 3 problems. In conclusion, I believe that my action plan steps align with the goals of my action research project. Throughout this process, I made alterations to my action plan, ensuring that each element translates well into the classroom, making my goals more achievable.